You're not an introvert. You're just coping.
See, you're not staying in because you would rather do that than go to a social event. You're staying in because you can't go to a social event. In self-improvement, we glorify and almost fetishize aloneness. People are under the implicit impression that if I stay in and don't go hang out with people and go to the gym with my hoodie on, that I'm doing the lone wolf thing and I'm being disciplined. But see, this is such a slippery slope of cope. Being disciplined means doing the hard thing when you don't want to do it. Chances are, you're the one not being disciplined if you stay back while everyone else goes to hang out. You stayed back and went to the gym, where it's fun and it's comfortable. You're the one not pushing yourself. And it's terrible because when you're using the scope, you're usually doing a pretty objectively good thing in place of going out. You're working on a project or you're going to the gym, etc. But you don't realize that even though you're doing these good things, you're coping. What I mean by coping is that you are distracting or avoiding a problem that needs to be dealt with, that should be dealt with.
With this autist self-improvement attitude, you've forsaken a large chunk of self-improvement, which is getting better at social interactions. A lot of people just aren't good socially. They don't know how to be social well, and so they avoid being social. But then they cope and cover it up with a nice packaging of, I'm working on myself, or something like that. In reality, you don't go out, because you can't go out, because you don't know what you would do if you went out, and that terrifies you. At least, it terrified me. Still kind of does, actually. You might be slightly offended, already heading to the comments. Good. But also remember, I make these videos for younger me. The type of person I've been describing this whole time is me.
I realized this about myself just earlier this year. I realized that if I could go to an event and have a ton of fun with my friends and be super charismatic and flirt with the girls, obviously I'd go. But I'm not super charismatic or good at flirting. Yeah, and I'd cope. And I'd say that I don't want to go to social outings because I'm working on myself and I have stuff that I have to do. And you know what? I did have stuff that I was working on, and I was working on myself when I didn't go to a social event.
Let me get to the precise point of this video. Great! I'm proud of you for working on yourself, and it's okay to be alone. On Modern Wisdom, Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy talk about the lonely chapter, when you decide to take control over your life. The lonely chapter is basically where you have surpassed the friends that you used to hang out with, but you don't quite have the results to hang out with the people that you do want to hang out with. So you're kind of in this limbo of not fitting well really anywhere. So I want to give you a little bit of nuance here. It's okay to be lonely. And in fact, it's a prerequisite for becoming the person that you want to become.
I am super cautioned in saying that though, because for the people that doesn't apply to, they're going to use what I just said as justification for the cope that I'm talking about in this video.
Learning to get better at making friends and being social and flirting with girls and having fun with other people socially is all part of self-improvement. Self-improvement, as my friend Kenny put it, is the act of moving the current self to the ideal self, or in simpler terms, the act of becoming he who can. So self-improvement isn't about cooping yourself up in your room and working alone for the rest of your life. It's not about being the lone wolf alone with a hoodie on at the gym. And it's not about earning a ton of money in secret. It's not about all of that. It also includes learning to be social, cultivating a group of friends, a group of brothers, learning how to get a wife, etc.
And that's something younger Noah really missed constantly this year. And maybe it's just because of the time I am in my life. I'm a junior. I've caught myself using this cope.
In fact, I wasn't going to go to my school's prom this year.
And there were definitely a few reasons. But one of the reasons that played a bigger role than I would have liked to admit is that I didn't want to go because I didn't think it would be fun, because I didn't think I was good enough at being social to make it fun. Earlier this year, a bunch of kids from my high school wanted to get together and hang out, and I found myself every time using this cope to leave early or to not go at all. I was afraid. I was nervous. And guess what? I was being productive. I was doing objectively good things for myself most of the time, but I was using those objectively good things as sort of a productive procrastination technique to avoid the glaringly obvious problem, which is that I was bad at being social. The beauty of confronting this cope and realizing that you might not be the best socially, and then learning to get better socially, unlocks a new ceiling for yourself. Because when you get better at being social, you're now more capable of being you. Because when you ask, do I want to go out and hang out with these people? You know the answer is real. You're not prohibited by, well, I don't really have the option because I don't know how to hang out with people. You now know that I know I could go and I know I could have a fun time, and I know that I could stay back, and I know that I could be productive. And now that answer is true. You can decide honestly what is better for you at that time.
Now, by absolutely no means am I a pro at this. I've just been thinking about this a lot and confronting it because it's so prevalent in my mind. The balance with being honest with yourself is insanely tricky, but I think it's one of those things that everyone struggles with. And since it's difficult to articulate what they're subconsciously ignoring, they can't improve. It's borderline impossible to fix or work towards something that you can't gain clarity on. I hope this video brought you value. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.